to the Red Pill Hardcore Radio Show.
Oh, really? Well, I'll give you something to talk about. No more games! I'll blow you away!
Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned in to another episode of the Red Pill Hardcore. I'm your host, V. Yes, Vienza on the mic here in Europe. And we're going to get this thing started. Just like I never left. So, right here I have on the phone with me, Dalibor. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, it's okay.
Oh, I'm probably going to butcher a lot of these names while I'm here, but I only know three languages, and none of them are here natively. So, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you're a target individual.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
And I don't know much about you per se. I don't actually research my guests because I like for my show to be organic in the fact that the questions I'm asking you are questions someone will normally ask you if they didn't know anything about you. So that's the best way to get people initiated into the knowledge of which you're going to share. So,
okay, if anyone is interested, you can easily find me on Facebook by my name Dalibor, and I posted some information also there about everything, so who is interested can find me there, no problems.
Excellent. And I'll give you another opportunity at the end of the show to plug everything you've got going on. But for now, I want to know who you are.
Okay, as I said, my name is Dalibor. I'm 35 years old. I'm from Osijek, city Osijek, Croatia. It's in Europe. I'm currently unemployed. I have finished 2 high schools, language gymnasium and cooking school. I've changed 3 colleges. Unfortunately, I haven't finished neither of them. And that's a short story.
Okay. So, my show is all about the victimization, the secret victimization. This is the Red Pill Hardcore, and this is about what people want to usually look away from. This is the reality of the world that, people want to say, oh, it's only seen in the movie, but it's an actual, I want to say, well, it's just a realization of reality, not to be too redundant. And you've gone through some things that you want to share with the rest of the world. So, your experiences, please.
Well, I think this technology is not, public too much. They mention brain-computer interfaces in the media, but only in a good way. Like, for example, moving your paralyzed arm or using brain-computer interface for playing computer games. But they don't mention that there are weapons also connected to this technology. And the weapons there are. And to my knowledge, I did some research on the internet. They are using these weapons maybe 15 or 20 years, who knows, maybe even longer. As I said, I believe that secret services and some very high organized crime groups have access to this kind of technology. It's not available to everyone. You really need to have lots of money and high connections to get access to something like that, and most people are just unaware of it. There are some information on the internet, but people just ignore it or don't want to believe it. It's not, it's not pushed enough in media. A lot of police officers with whom I talk, they also say, at least publicly, that they don't have it or use this kind of technology. Some of them suggest that if I suspect something like that to do, full body MRI and try to look for implants. But many of the policemen I talk to say they don't know or have any knowledge about this kind of weapons. So that's maybe just the story for the public. Maybe some of the policemen know, but they don't want to talk about it. I really can't say. And as I said, people should always. I know this weapon sounds unbelievable, but there must be a reason, a motive. So whenever someone comes with that kind of story, there must be some kind of motive behind it. Why would it happen, and so on.
Okay, well, I'm really glad that you say that, because my largest, my biggest concern about this whole ordeal was that target individuals are falling to the psyop. It's my neighbor. My neighbor has some sort of weapon targeted on me, some ultrasonic weapon targeted on me, and or some frequency device of some kind, and it's not the neighbor. This is one of the oldest, I would say, war game or psychological warfare tactic, is to create mayhem, blame it on someone else, so that the two of your enemies take each other out. Now, this is a population control agenda, and they make money off of the murders. They're eating off of the killings. There have been stories of target individuals going next door and killing their neighbors, and being caught trying to find some sort of mind control box. And this simply is just not the case. As you said, this isn't available to everyone.
Yes, it's very hard to get that kind of equipment, at least to my knowledge. I talk to a lot of people on Facebook, on internet. It's not easy to gain access to something like that. And I think that is the reason. They keep it hidden for a reason. I found a video on the internet that they went public in the 60s that it is possible to influence human brain with electromagnetic waves. So that is from the 60s. So you can imagine how far the technology has gone from that point. And many scientists say that some military circles, private circles, sectors are at least 50 years ahead of what we have access to at home. So, and I just wanted to say, there is no better spying tool than to read someone's thoughts. You see someone's thoughts on computer monitor or whatever they use. That's a perfect spy tool. Killing tool to scare someone, to eliminate someone, to make mayhem, to pronounce someone insane, to remove someone from something. The tool is amazing. It's such a shame that this tool is used for bad purposes, to kill, torture, and murder people. Really, such a waste, such a shame. If we had access to this kind of technology at home, there are so many positive benefits also. It can't be all bad,
the thing is about newly found technology, it doesn't matter what technology it is. Every government throughout history has used some new device or new invention and made it into a weapon before it ever became beneficial to medicine or communications or anything else. So
yes, weapon industry is very strong. They make a lot of profit, a lot of money. Yes, it's a very good business for some. Yes, not for the victims, of course. Unfortunately, we are still a very aggressive race, primitive race, and add drugs to that, and you get complete lunacy and craziness and many other even worse things happening. And I don't know. It's a crazy world out there, as it seems. Sad and crazy in a way.
It is a crazy world, and people, just to call someone else crazy, or try to discredit someone, being called crazy. Is that the norm? You might want to listen to this person. It's a crazy world out there. So I know. I've come across those guys just like, man, I've seen things. It's like, okay, here's $1. Thank you. It's like, this guy's in bad shape. He's been through some things, and because I'm there with him. I've been through the whole psyop, the mind games and everything. And, luckily for me, I grew up in a military family. I know tactics. I know this sort of ordeal, and it was obvious for me because it was already in my world. I was born into it. But for other target individuals, it's not so obvious, and what you don't know can kill you.
Yeah, but I wanted to say the information, at least the basic tips and about the technology and the weaponry is accessible on the internet. If you go research yourself, you can find easily at least some information about this. So I don't know why it's still such a taboo topic in the masses, when I recently found out that the one lady who, is trying to become a senator, posted publicly on her home page about these weapons and technology. Some people also wrote books about it. I recently got a book from one professor in Belgrade in Serbia. He sent me a book on my mail about this kind of weapons. So information is out there, but I don't know why people are they scared or are uninterested to look about it, to search a bit about it. Okay, it will not be in the news in the 8 o'clock or which time, whatever, but you can access the information, you can find it. To defend yourself against this kind of weaponry, that's not an easy task. That is hard task, and to live with something like this is very hard. And
absolutely, and I agree with that. Up until a point, it's not a matter of the access to the information is more of how can people even know about it to begin with. If you're born into the Matrix, you don't know what the Matrix is until someone tells you that there's a Matrix. It's on a level of, you ask someone about mind control, it's like, what are you talking about? What movies have you been watching? Are you okay? Are you high? And it's like, you don't know until you look it up. And yes, as you said, the information's there. I put the information all the time. Anthony puts the information out there all the time. There's a network of people, and it's there to get people to, I've actually have been really, really upset and angry with this mosquito thing. Anthony Thomas, by the way, you can get him on Facebook, and he's been putting out these links to the mosquito technology. It's a frequency device that was used in the UK and other parts of the world by different corporations, small companies, even libraries, to stop children from loitering. This device puts out a sound that is annoying, and it deters teenagers and young adults and children from being around certain areas. And only they can hear it. Adults cannot hear it. So this
is it something similar what they put on buildings to scare away the pigeons, something like that? Also some kind of sound wave.
Yeah, the airports, you have a version of this that sends an inaudible sound to everyone else on the planet, but to the birds, they can hear it, and they fly away when they hear it. Even down to pest control. There is mind control devices for every species of animal on this planet. I'm not sure if anybody can come to that realization, but there is. And so it comes down to the level of, okay, there's a frequency that can get rid of mosquitoes. There's a frequency that can get rid of cockroaches. There's a frequency that can shut your dog up from barking. There's a frequency that can deter kids from hanging around a library where they should be hanging out at. That's... It shows you that they further want to separate people from knowledge, the growing minds of the world. But, I digress. You have the frequency to deter kids from being around certain places. What about the frequencies that are controlling adults? These adults that are killing their children, the adults that are doing mass killings, the shootings.
I would like to say about these weapons, this is actually nothing so much, science fiction. This is just a brain-computer interface. You can buy something similar on the internet to your home usage for $300 on the Emotive web page. That is accessible to everyone. So this is just a bit sophisticated version, a better version, improved version, which they use as weapons. So I don't know why people, when you mention something like that, are so scared, uninterested, tell you are a conspiracy or something other. I mean, why? When you can buy a similar device to your home usage, this is just something more developed, more,
advanced, yeah.
More sophisticated than the device you can have at your home. So I don't know why it's so unbelievable to say, look, this is brain-computer interface, but there are weapons also connected to this technology. I don't know why this is such a taboo topic. I really don't understand that.
Well, I mean, for people who are listening right now, you can actually look it up. Just Google it. There are headbands you can put on your cranial cap on your head and think thoughts, and it will type for you in the computer. It will type the words that you're thinking.
They wanted to use this technology for the game industry so you can play your games by just using your thoughts.
I'm a gamer as well, and that's actually one of the first places I've read the articles. Gaming. This is to help with the gaming response, and actually virtual reality is supposed to stem after this, and we all know that's just a mind control matrix right there. So they have some real, actual, literal, the Matrix movie concepts and plans for this sort of technology. I think it's
I don't know what they're planning to do with this. I don't know.
Well, all you gotta do is draw the lines. To answer your question, I don't want to be the one to answer it, but for me, it's on a level of why don't these people want to look at it is because it's surreal to them. They don't want to believe that our governments are controlled by psychopathic, pedophile, rapists.
Yeah.
They don't want to believe that power corrupts and corrupts absolutely. They don't want to believe that.
I've talked to a lot of people on Facebook from different parts of the world, and it's everywhere the similar story. There are few families who inherited fortune, or get the big money, and they bought the police, the judges, the media, and they rule. They do whatever they want, and no one can touch them. And they can buy the bodyguards, as I said, the police officers. They go to lunch to some of the highest policemen, and they work together. They pay them to leave them alone, to turn their head the other way, and they do whatever they want. And I think most of them go crazy from the cocaine or any other drug, and they go to really some disgusting things to do, even to children, and it is going on, and it is almost impossible to fight them. If you go against them, they can murder you, they can torture you, they can put you in jail, in a hospital, they can do whatever they want with you. I mean, it's, as I said, it's a similar story all around the world.
Well, I'll tell you what, these people have tortured me enough. It's to the point where I've almost become, I don't know what do you call it, the sadomasochist? I don't know. Somebody who likes pain. You know, I bring it on. Bring it on. I'm starting to like it. I'm loving it. Keep bringing it. But the point is that you're not getting away with this. That's where I'm coming from. And so I don't.
For a long time.
I've been targeted as such, but I really want to expose the whole idea and the whole. I mean, Pizzagate has to be a part of this. You know.
Yes, I think they know all of each other. The big families, the main guys. I think they know. They are connected globally. They work together. I think it's all connected in a way. Yes, I believe that is the case.
Well, I mean, child sex rings, the child porn, it's nothing new. We know the politicians are doing it. We know the military officials are doing it. They're facilitating it, and
yes,
we know we know this. But as a public, as the people, I think people are still failing to connect the dots. So I really want to connect the dots for them. If you have a frequency
you
that
can blame the main media. They don't talk enough. There are articles now and then, but very scarce, very few that mention child trafficking, child prostitution, kidnapping, forced prostitution. There are not many information out there. They talk about some not so important stuff. I don't want to offend anyone, but football, how to say, some music. I don't want to say that this is not important, but there are more important topics. I mean, the child trafficking industry is huge, and we cannot protect our own children. Then who are we? What are we? I mean, this is the priority. Our kids are the priority. They should be our priority in life. We will die. We will go away. This world will be left to them. So I blame on media not talking enough about these topics.
Well, I not if I can help it. I'm seriously. People need to realize the implications. Please look into the mosquito technology. This is really sort of an old thing, but it's still ongoing as far as this legalities and court cases. I mean, hopefully I can get some child advocacy groups and representative on the show to talk about this. But you know, people are wondering, well, if these the victims of these crimes, you know, really exist, why aren't they talking? And you know, why aren't they coming out? And you have to understand that with this sort of well, it's not just the fear. You still have a certain amount of children who have the character and that are courageous enough to come out about it. But these children are harassed with frequencies.
Yes.
You know, if you in some level of, if you're quiet, you don't say anything, you're not going to hear these signals. You're not going to hear these voices. You're not going to hear these sounds that are being pumped into your skull that only you can hear. I mean, a lot of them are probably under sort of certain religious or you know, some sort of boogeyman sort of mind control, and it's like, you don't, you know, do what I tell you. You don't come and sit on my lap. The boogeyman is going to be in your head. They're going to come get you. And I know all sorts of audio and visual hallucination technologies that they have out there. And so these kids will actually cower and fear and do what these sick government officials, and a lot of times corporate officials, it's not just government, the pollution, the corruption, the illness, the cancer is everywhere. You know, where you find money for sure.
Yes, well, the technology is amazing, as I said, but unfortunately misused. And they can manipulate the emotions, they can induce fear, hallucinations, visualizations in your brain directly. So imagine how the kid feels when something like this is happening, how frightening it can be. They can keep you in fear for months, years, that you are scared all the time, to be afraid to speak up, to ask for help. They can do a lot of things with this kind of technology, and the richest people have access to this, and they misuse it. Yes, unfortunately, it's true even on children. Yes, it's true.
Well, I feel like we kind of jumped the gun here because we're both very passionate about this. But the reason for being on my show, I need to hear your story. We need to hear your story because you've had some reason for your targeting, why you know about this. So, please go into it.
Well, yes, my story, how to say, I found out about these local mafia guys doing the child trafficking in my city in the end of 2013. But my story starts a bit earlier. I started to investigate myself a bit earlier about missing children on the internet. There was a case in my city with an abandoned shelter, or how to say, a shelter home for kids who had problems with their, what's the English word, behavior. There was an incident, it was in the newspapers, about raping the girls, selling them as prostitutes around cities, so I started to investigate myself. And I have heard about this group of people, these mafia guys. I live very close to their one club, it's named Ox. I lived close by, and some inner feelings told me that there's something wrong in that place. And it was in the end of 2013, I actually went there to meet the owner and ask about some job. He holds his own security company, bodyguard company. I wanted to ask about some job. It's very hard to find work in my city. And this is how my real story starts. That evening, I went there, I went inside. I went down in the basement, and as soon as I entered the club, there were maybe 15 people inside. The bodyguards surrounded me from all sides, from three bodyguards, not very close, but a few meters from me. And they look at me angrily and with the threatening looks. I didn't understand why. I didn't do anything. I just came inside. I ordered a drink. The waiters looked really scared, and they look at me with scary eyes, like they wanted to say to me, go away. And I got a bit scared too, I have to admit. And I finished my drink and I went out. I now regret that maybe if I try to call the police, maybe things will go in a different way. I don't know. Well, I exited the club, and one of the bodyguards exited after me, and he was also really angry. And I went back home and followed them on Facebook. And by some of their posts, I figured out they did something very, very wrong. And the next evening, I was really furious. I charged there. I was really mad. And I looked one of them in the eyes. I wanted to look them in the faces to see did my suspicions were true. And by the look on their faces, yes, they did something very, very wrong. And one of them remembered me. I was very furious. And then I also went back home, and then the threats from their side started. A few days later, I was sitting on the bench in the park next to my building, and I think it was a police officer in civil outfit. He approached me and looked at me in the eyes. He said something like, would we play such a hard game if we didn't have to? Maybe the kid will have to go to meet the main coach or something like that. I was scared all the time. I'm not the person that gets scared so easily. I was constantly under fear. And then the threats from the other guys from the mafia started to come forward. Some of them waited me outside of my building and started to comment, what will you do? You will get with a gun, and the rest of the stuff. And in the 4th month of the 2014, they attacked me directly with this weapon. Then the voices started, and then they really hit at me. They knocked me down once. I bleeded a few times. The fear, if I told you everything what they did to me, to my brain and my body, you wouldn't believe. And it's still going on till this day. And this is why I kept silence for a while about everything I found out. I was really scared. They threatened to even to my best friend. He doesn't talk to me no more. He said he has a family. He doesn't want to get involved in this. And now recently, I just, I learned to push the fear away, and I came up publicly with this story. I'm trying to collect evidence. I've talked to a few people on Facebook. Yes, they are involved in child trafficking. Yes, they bring girls from all over Europe. Even the police admits that. They sell them around town as prostitutes. I recently got a message from one of them. They got a bit furious because I posted publicly on my wall. He said they have connections in the USA, in the FBI. They sell kids even there. It's their biggest market. And little by little, I'm finding out even more. And I'm trying to get even more proof, even more evidence about all of this, and try to push it into media, into public. I talked to few politicians and news. They said if I get any hard evidence, they will maybe try to help something about this. And this is in a way what is happening in my life at the moment.
That's intense. Wow. Wow. I'm almost speechless. So I have to go straight into it because I'm well read into this, and hopefully my audience knows something about this. But what would you think the solution to this epidemic, this cancer in our society? What's the solution to it?
I don't know. People need to organize, get together, as many people as possible. The news, the good cops who are not on their payroll, the civilians, try to gather as much as evidence as possible and try to push it into the media. Maybe organize some protest to ask for their detention, to ask for their imprisonment. I see no other solution. Many people need to work together to solve this. If one guy charges at them like I did, they can easily break me down, maybe even kill me, I don't know. But this is not about me, this is about those kids. Who knows how long this is going on, how many kids have they, murdered, sacrificed, or whatever they do with them. I presume what they do with them, but I don't want to go into those details. I mean, and as I said, this is a global issue. This is not just my city. These things happening everywhere around the globe, and we have this internet, this Facebook, so we can communicate with each other, share information, share evidence, maybe meet some good people who are willing to help to organize something. I don't know. Also, the problem is a lot of people are unaware of those kind of things happening. They don't even want to discuss, to talk about this topic, not to mention how to solve it. A lot of my friends in my city, they just ignore it. I don't want to hear about it. Or many people are also scared. And also what the problem is, how to prove this technology. They use this technology probably, I'm 100% sure on some of those kids to force them in prostitution. They use on people who find out, who tried something against them to scare them off, maybe even murder them. This is very hard to prove, this kind of technology. I mean, if you don't find any implant in your body, that is hard evidence. I saw an article, I saw a few articles, some people did manage to find some kind of microchips, and that is a proof. But if it's nanotechnology, if it's satellite-based weapons or some other stuff which you can't, make hard evidence, then I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do.
Well, I'm glad you're extremely educated. I'm glad you said that because there are these countries where American troops are coming in. Allied countries of the U.S., and these troops are being positioned globally. And let's make no illusions here. These aren't just Allied troops coming in to protect from Russia or some other imaginary threat, some convoluted, made-up Hegelian dialect situation. This is an invasion. This is an imperialistic invasion. These troops are coming in from, actually, as a matter of fact, here in Poland. After my arrival here, I found out American troops were just approved to come and set up shop here in Poland. And a lot of these implants are coming from, the military, who are implanting children. And even further, they don't need to implant anyone, really. All that's really is necessary is the nanotech that you mentioned. Now,
yes,
it's not necessarily nanotechnology, nanorobots like people think. This is not what's needed. It's just nanoparticulates that are sensitized to or have a piezoelectric effect towards frequencies. And we're cell towers everywhere, and there's chemtrailing everywhere. Even for the countries that don't have chemtrail spraying, it's the atmosphere. Clouds move from one side of the planet to the other. You don't need to spray in every country. So the nano dust, the smart dust, is everywhere. And everyone is affected by it. There's a haze in which people are under right now, this mind control, to not only dumb them down, but to make them not care. And this is a part of it.
Yes, it's possible.
I can tell you right now, I'm doing research, and I have help with this research. I have a guy using a degaussing tool, and he runs it over his body, and he tells me instantly he thinks clearer. It feels like there's a haze lifted up from him. He's able to actually see things a little bit better. Not so much as a visual, but just to perceive and his reality better. And so this is, I think, a solution. Well, more of a treatment to the solution. I don't know how the politics are there in your country. You're from the Czech Republic, right?
No, from Croatia.
Croatia. I'm sorry. I switch the two all the time. Czech Republic or Croatia. See, I did it again. Croatia.
It's a part of former Yugoslavia.
Oh yes. Croatia. And so,
yes.
Do you actually have chemtrailing there in your country, or is it?
I don't know. I don't follow all the news in my country, all the newspaper. I really don't know that they talk about this stuff.
Okay.
I've talked to a few people from the military, which I know. I talked to a few police officers, which I know. I've asked about microchips, and all they said to me is if I suspect something like this, to do an MRI, full body MRI, try to look for it. But about the nanotechnology, about the towers, about the satellite-based weapons, no one said the word to me. I really don't know. Someone from the military, someone from the scientific circles should come openly, should come publicly to talk about this. What weapons do exist, how to protect yourself from it, how to detect it, to give us some kind of scanners or any other tools to detect it or remove it out of the body. If they don't do this, the civilians, the public, I don't have access, I don't have money, I don't have access to that kind of equipment, to that kind of tools to scan myself, to search for it, to look for it. I mean, it's really hard battle to do.
Well, I just wish that there was a way to, I mean the reason why I ask what country you're from is because I know in America, the United States of America, we have civilian militias, and through our Constitution, our civilian militias have the right to do, pretty much anything, overthrow, federal armies and overthrow the government entirely if it is proven to be corrupt. I know everywhere else on the planet, more than likely, it's more of a rebel army sort of situation, and that's why we have been sensitized to this idea of terrorism. You're a terrorist if you go against the system. Oh God, mommy, there's a terrorist. And you see a picture of a Disney villain sort of a scenario, dark skin or whatever otherwise, someone that's not like you in your country, this person's a terrorist. Report this person when you see them, and that sort of thing. And this is just to quelch or put down any sort of uprising for these people who see the truth. And it just may be my nature, but I think we need to have militias contrary to government states for this sort of ordeal. It's not just the American Constitution that should allow militias, but this should be the norm for any nation around the world, especially since we're becoming more technologically advanced. The wool can be pulled over our eyes so much easier, especially with them dumbing down the population, or things being so automated that you don't have to learn anything. This is what is called a technocracy, and people don't understand that with more technology that comes into your life, and the less you know about it, the more control that these people have over you. And it's really the invisible crime, the invisible Holocaust, because there are victims of these technologies, and people are like, "Oh, that person's crazy," all simply because they don't know that this sort of thing exists or can exist, for that matter.
Well, this is you see those crime groups, the mafia guys who really run the control, the country, who put their politicians in front of the TV. They play very wise. They don't care about the nationality or the color or the skin. They don't care about anything. To them, it's just business and pleasure, entertainment, and they will use any tools available to them. And they try to keep it hidden as much as possible. They will pay or threaten to someone to not talk about it, and this is how it's going on for quite a long time. They know about this, but they don't want to talk about it. They ignore it, and they will laugh at your face, calling you crazy and other stuff, even though they're well aware of it. So some of those circles who has some people did try to speak out publicly about this. As I said, that woman who is running for senator, but they still didn't offer the tools we need to prove this and to defend ourselves against this weaponry. They still haven't given us access to something like that, and I don't know when this happened. I really don't know. As I said, I got this book from one professor in Belgrade who wrote a book about this. I also asked him, do they have any tools which we can measure the frequencies on our body and to detect it and to remove it if it's an implant? He said he doesn't have it. He mentioned some kind of device, but not available to everyone. And that's about it.
Yeah, and I've done the research, and it's really sad because even for the tools that can detect these things, they're either very expensive or somebody will buy these things and not understanding the frequency ranges, the frequency bands, and even more so with the devices that need to detect the infinitely smaller frequency bands, that of scalar waves, or ELF, and even these devices can be thrown off in their readings by being quantum tapped. What I call quantum tapping. Computers can be hacked. Any device with a processor in it or takes electrical energy can be tapped by an imposed magnetic field via a remote weapon, and there's just nothing you can do about it unless you have shielding against your computers or your devices, and then it be able to work properly. I mean, anyone can look this up. The NSA came up with Tempest, or these computers that supposedly can't be frequency hacked. my friends, Anthony Thomas is all over the internet trying to get hacktivists, so-called anonymous heroes, to understand this technology, and you try to tell them about quantum tapping or frequency hacking, and it's like their response is like, I use Tor, so I'm safe. It's like, wow, really, I'm missing a swing, a real fail. The brightest of hackers will refuse to believe that they have no control over their computer systems.
Yes, they don't understand that these people have access to technology at least 50 years ahead of what we have at home, and it is impossible to fight against it. I mean, this is just not reasonable to even try to. They also hack my computer. I install new Windows, and the moment I boost it, they're already there. They're closing and opening my Windows, and I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm already used to it, and you can't explain. I don't want to offend anyone, but people are just they're uninterested about these topics. They talk about some basic daily stuff, and as soon as you mention the technology, the child trafficking, the military industry, they just turn their head. I'm not interested. I don't want to talk about it. That's not of my concern. And most people react just like that, and that is also a very big problem. If they're more curious, more interested, maybe things would, move further. Maybe we would get some answers. Maybe we would get some tools, equipment needed to solve this. But I don't know.
Well,
I really don't.
Well, once again, though, it's the comforts of the world. So long as things are automated for them, life is easy. It's divide and conquer. Using comfort and debauchery. That's one of the greatest weapons ever. You give someone everything they want. Why are they going to care about someone else?
But I mean, this is also the news work. The media should be there to inform us. The police should be there to give us tools. I mean, for example, if you microchip a dog, you can easily go to a veterinarian and he'll scan him and remove the device. This is normal, and people know about this. So they should have also tools for human microchipping or whatever the technology they use. They should give people proper information about this. If you go to police and ask about those weapons, they should tell you, okay, this is how it works, this is how you can solve it, and okay. But no, they also ignore it or laugh at you, or they just also turn their head, they don't want to talk about it. I mean, I don't know.
Well, the Blue Lodge is, that's what I call them, because most officers who are of the Freemasonry relation or in a Freemason lodge, it's the Blue Lodge. They only get to certain levels. Typically it's the first, second, or third level, and they feel like they're, hot shots, and they get to do whatever they want. But they've been told nothing but lies, and they're really just, they think they're part of the big boys club, but they're not. And so even if they are told something, it's on a level of, it's sort of a needs-to-know basis, and they know very little because they don't need to know.
Yeah, I know, but how, I mean, those people in my city, the local mafia guys, I mean, there are a lot of them involved in this. A lot of people are involved with this. And they talk among each other. They probably all know about this weaponry and everything else. How they gain access to the information, gain access to this kind of equipment, I mean, and when you go to police, ask them, they don't know anything. I mean, I wanted to say, these people live maybe 500 meters from each other, and this guy knows everything, and this guy who lives 500 meters from him says he doesn't know nothing. I'm sorry, this is a bit absurd.
Well, it's just psychology. These people. Well, especially in law enforcement, psychopaths are a different breed than regular humans. They don't feel empathy. They don't, they're not really human, so to speak. But these are psychopaths. They will do what they can to get further in the world because they're ultimately the most selfish people on the planet. And they don't care. They don't care what happens to anyone else. They'll turn their heads. They'll take the bribes. They will do what they can to get ahead and be one with the group. And a lot of the times, these people are guilty of the same crimes that their masters are guilty of as well. That's how you wrangle other psychopaths. As a psychopath, you ever say anything, we've got all this dirt on you, and you're going down the toilet. So this crime is very pervasive, and it just continues. And it's a growing cancer. It's a monster, and it seems like it can't be stopped. But I don't know.
We don't have any other options but try to fight it as much as we can. I'm not giving up, especially since I found out about the child trafficking industry and how some of those kids end up. This is something unbelievably horrible, and I'm not giving up. Even if I lose my own, I'm not giving up on this fight. I'm going to try as much as I can, and I don't know. Time will tell. Time will tell what will happen. I mean, it's sad that those things happening. It's sad that this kind of technology is used for bad purposes to make weapons. As I said, if they use this technology for something good, we can already enhance brain functions, maybe even learn faster. Who knows? There must be good side effects of this kind of technology. Maybe we could all have been geniuses already, and I don't know.
You don't know how right you are.
But I mean, the implications, it can be bad. The technology is made probably for a good purpose, but someone took it and made the weapons out of it. So it's such a shame, such a waste that these kind of tools are used by criminal groups and not by proper good-hearted scientists and men to improve the medicine. In that kind of direction, I wanted to say.
Well, you said it. I mean, it's sort of like, you go to school, you're the nerdy kid, and you have these big bullies. They, you've got a real cool toy, and they bully you out of it.
Yeah.
These bullies who hire scientists, and being a scientist, you just want to play with as many toys as you can and do what you can, even if it means giving it up to the bully when you're done playing with it.
Unfortunately, this is how the real life works. In real life, the mafia is running everything, and they own as I said, they have their people in police, in judges, in politics, and they are running the whole show. And those people are aggressive. They use guns. They don't talk to solve their problems. They solve their problems with the guns. And now they have even more advanced weapons to solve their problems. They use only force. And this is why our society in such a, crude state, unemployment, the child trafficking and many other stuff, wars happening, because the mafia is running the show. They are running the show, and it is very hard battle. I don't know what to say. I don't know. I think I would also like to say that this high unemployment rate is also, I think many people who work for the mafia would maybe turn their backs at them, maybe even, expose them, but they are scared of losing the job, staying on the street without money, and a lot of things are mixed up in all of this. I don't know. It's a very, very big problem to solve. Not an easy task.
Well, how about we just come up with a solution? like, I don't know, anti-mind control tech, which would probably make that much more money. Let's go ahead and take advantage of the Hegelian dialect. Let's just let them make trillions on anti-tech.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll go away. Everybody will be happy.
one of my friends suggested that we switch to some other kind of model to economy, not money-based economy, but this is not going to happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Really hard battle, hard life.
Well, you've been a very excellent guest. I'm glad to have had you on the show. And, I as I said before, you can give a plug, your Facebook or any other websites or any extra information that you want to give out.
Yes, I posted information what I found out on my Facebook page. I'm communicating with people from all around the world on Facebook. I'm trying to find solution and for the targeting and for the child trafficking. I'm doing at least something. But as I said, the battle is very hard, very long, very tiresome, and I don't see an end very soon. Unfortunately, I don't see an end very soon.
Well, I can say that there will be a solution, and very soon. I'm pushing for it. So, once again, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. It was really nice talking to you.
And maybe we can come on again one day if you got an update or your situation changes.
Okay. Yeah, why not?
All right. If you want to give your name and Facebook.
Yes, as I said, my name is Dalibor. I'm from Osijek. You can find me on my Facebook page, my profile, and that's about it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for again. This is so important, and thank you. Because we gotta do this for the kids, at least, if nobody else.
Yes. we have to try.
All right. Well, you have a good evening, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me, for having me. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best.
All right. And so, that was the first hour of this particular episode. Trust me, I'm going to have a treat for you next hour as well. So, stay tuned, because this is the Red Pill Hardcore Radio Show. I'm your host, V. And, hey, little tasty jam for you right quick, and continue the show.
In chocolate rain. The school books say it can't be here again. Chocolate rain. The prisons make you wonder where it went. Chocolate rain. You'll attempt and say the world is dry. Chocolate rain. Zoom the camera out and see the light. Chocolate rain. Forecast to be falling yesterday. Chocolate rain. Only in the past years what they say. Chocolate rain. Freeze your neighborhood insurance rate. Chocolate rain. Makes us happy living in the game. Chocolate rain. Made me cross the street the other day. Chocolate rain. Made you turn your head the other way. Chocolate rain. crashing through your veins. Chocolate rain, using you to fall back down again. Chocolate rain, seldom mentioned on the radio. Chocolate rain, it's the fear your leaders car control. Chocolate rain, worse than swearing, worse than calling it. Chocolate rain, say it publicly and you're insane. Chocolate rain, no one wants to hear about it now. Chocolate rain, it's real hard, it goes away somehow. Chocolate rain makes the best of friends begin to fight. Chocolate rain, but did they know each other in the night? Chocolate rain, every February washed away. Chocolate rain stays behind his colors celebrate. Chocolate rain, the same crime has a higher price to pay. Chocolate rain, the judge and jury swear it's not the face. Chocolate rain, history quickly crashing through your veins. Chocolate rain, using you to fall back down again. Chocolate rain, history quickly crashing through your veins. Chocolate rain, using you to fall back down again. Chocolate rain, dirty secrets of economy. Chocolate rain, turns that body into GDP. Chocolate rain, the milk blames the baby's DNA. Chocolate rain, but it scores out how much the parents make. Chocolate rain, flipping cars in France the other night. Chocolate rain, clean the sewers out beneath the light. Chocolate rain, across the world and back it's all the same. Chocolate rain, angels cry and shake their heads in shame. Chocolate rain, you see off the paradise in chocolate rain. Which part do you think you're living in? Chocolate rain, old and marching more than passing law. Chocolate rain, remake how we got to where we are. Chocolate rain, history quickly crashing through your veins. Chocolate rain, using you to fall back down again. Chocolate rain, history quickly crashing through your veins. Chocolate rain, using you to fall back down again.
Please contact us if you or anyone you know wants to be on our show at thetruthpharmacy@gmail.com.
Hello, everyone. You are listening to the Red Pill Hardcore. As usual, I am your host, V. That's right, V is on the mic here. And oh, what a little piece that I've got for you. It's going to be a powerful one, so please listen in. But to go along with this mind control and child abuse things, I just have to get into a little bit deeper because our children are the future. And for those who sit in positions of authority, convoluted authority, and mistake it for power, there needs to be a little wake-up call, because, as usual, I have to direct this towards the priesthood, because you have three different classes of people in this world. This is the triangle, the three sides. You have the people, you have the priesthood, and you have the king. Now, in American terms, since I'm American, again, you have the people, you have the bankers / intelligence agencies, and then you have the presidents or high-ranking officials. And we all know that, for those of you who are in touch with occult knowledge and occult esoteric understanding, I guess in this case it'll be overstanding, so you got to watch your wording when it comes to these things. You know that the king is a sacrificial piece for the priesthood, which rules over the people. Even the pyramid in itself is convoluted, which spells self-destruction, but it's the system in which they use. And this priesthood uses magic. And since these people have no real understanding of the magic, this is where technology has come into play. And let's face it, when it comes to technology, there's no one better than the thieves of the intelligence agency known as the NSA. Now, with their remote neuromonitoring, their spying, they steal all sorts of technology to be sure to remain on top. And I just have to say, I don't know. NSA defeat me with energy beams? I don't know. I think you're on the crazy side. Anyone can say what they want to say about me, but I think you're the crazy ones. I mean, you can beam me with brain, lung, or whatever kind of cancers you like. Just like you do to rival country intelligence agents. And yes, I do have some stories on that, some insider information on that. But, I think telling the story now will be good, but, only time will tell who's right. So, I'm just all about doing my best in teaching these treasonous cowards Murphy's Law, and also the right to remain silent, like any real intelligent agency should. I mean, as it were, media is the fourth unspoken arm of government, which is used to control people. Look up Operation Mockingbird if you don't believe me. But, what can I say? I have the microphone control like Alt-Delete. I'm trying to teach them this before, I splatter the psyops that they misuse. But anyhow, like I said, once again, you listen to the Red Pill Hardcore Radio Show. I'm your host, V. And I have here with me Slawek. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, V. Thank you very much for having me on your audition. It's really a pleasure to be here. And my name is Slawek Victor, and I'm from Poland, and I am a TI also for about 8 years right now. Yeah. Should I start it with? I have prepared for you some interesting information from StopZ. StopZ is a Polish association of TIs, and if you allow me, I can go forward give you some interesting information about it.
Yes, StopZ is a TI organization here, I believe based here in Poland, and an incredible group of people. I've already met a few members, and yeah, hopefully, things can get started. Progress for TIs can get started here at StopSec. So please go ahead. But first, what's your position in StopSec?
Oh, okay. I am, as they called me, an ambassador of StopSec, and I prefer to call it I am responsible for foreign contacts within StopSec. So if there is a person who wants to contact from the foreign land with English-speaking person, they usually contact with me, right? And I try to follow all the messages to StopSec presence Zofia Filipek.
Okay.
Okay, so if I can start it. So basic thing, StopSec is, the name is Stop Zorganizowanym Elektronicznym Torturą, which means in English, Stop Organized Electronic Tortures, right? This is the name of our association. So when it started unofficially at the year of 2014, when Zofia Filipek and Krzysztof Dawian met together after have some conversation on the internet, sharing their experiences and so on. And later, let's say at March 2015, there was a conference of mind control conference in Poland, first type conference. What they met with other TIs from Poland, and they decided to start this association. So officially it started at year 2015, but the registrations was done at 11 November of 2015. So it's about a year and more this association has, right? But myself, I joined it at January of 2016 to this association. Okay. What is interesting for you for sure and your audience, we have for this day about 56 of registered members. Another thing, there was more about a few hundred people that contact StopSec, but most of them didn't keep the contact with us anymore. But as we may know, they follow our website, follow our Facebook profile, and also they sometimes comment on our posts.
Okay.
Okay. Also, what I would want to share you, I would like to say how the oldest case of the targeting in Poland was, at least from our knowledge, right?
Okay.
We know that some of the first cases started at the late years of 70 and even 60s. So it's very, very long time, even here in Poland.
This is around the years where the voice to skull or radio frequency to brain technology had started. You can look up an article about this, 1974.
Yeah, but mostly it started from stalking, gang stalking. At those years, some of the victims can report that it started even from the 1960, 1970. The first people targeted in Poland said.
Well, the 1960s, and I want to go ahead and say, 1960s. This is around the time after the UT clock tower shooter climbed the clock tower and started shooting people. This was one of the first, probably the first, mass shooter in the United States who, in his autopsy, they found a brain tumor in his, during the autopsy, And they said, oh, well, the reason why he started killing people is because his brain tumor pushed on the aggressive part of his brain. And this is
microwave then, and
well, the thing is, this is the total cover story because everyone was interested in the story. But the fact is that they were hitting this guy's brain with Voice the Skull, thinking that everyone was inside of his head talking to him, and they were using ionizing radiation at the time. They switched over to non-ionizing radiation, which has less incidence of cancerous or tumorous activity or results in the brain.
I see.
But yes, go ahead.
Okay. Another thing what you might find interesting, asking what are the cases of people that are targeting, right, in Poland, who are the victims of this technology. So, as we know, many of the targets are the person who have this sixth sense ability, paranormal abilities, and so on. This is one of the many of the targets. Other type of targets are, those activists, anti-system person, people interested in the politics, and so on. Also, there is many, people who, have knowledge of some crimes and so on, and they become victims of, knowing too much, right? If you know too much, someone didn't like it, and you became a target. And of course, we think that most of those us victims are being a part of some experiments, tests, and so on that's being made on us. Okay, and next, what are the ways of they tortured us, Polish targets? I think this is common stuff as everyone, most of DI's experience. So gang stalking is the best thing that they, tortured us, stalk us. They used fear tactics and so on. Of course, they use most of us experience those electronic harassment. As the effect of this are deconcentration, strong fear, body vibrations, pain, headache, and of course many of us have the V2K, that's hearing voices in their heads, right?
Well, the V2K, and I want to separate this out for people. V2K is the old technology, whereas you don't want to say something. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, I've been looking up music to throw onto the show. I accidentally clicked on it. But still a radio amateur faux pas, sorry.
Hey, no problem.
The thing is about V2K is that V2K is different than synthetic telepathy. V2K is Voice the Skull, and basically it's the microwave. The V2K is the microwave beaming of the voices. This is not necessarily interactive. It's just bombarding a person with the script to drive them mad. Sort of like the Clock Tower shooter, and to have them go on killing sprees. But they've gone beyond that to synthetic telepathy. And this is something I want to educate the TI community about, because the term of V2K is extremely outdated. Even if there was a law put against it, it would prove ineffective because there are two different technologies. The Voice the Skull is a one-way street, where the synthetic telepathy is a two-way street. So, I just wanted to point that out. But please go on.
That's a good point, because but we use this V2K as a common term of hearing voices in your head. Of course, synthetic telepathy is a much bigger topic, and this is connected with remote neural monitoring, right? they have much more ability to influence person than just beaming up voices into our head, which is, let's say, common, not common on the typical methods of voice to skull, right? Okay,
Yes.
what have we here? If you ask us who might be responsible in Poland for all this targeting, we think that as most targets think that responsible for this are the military or secret services. Like in Poland, there is, I don't know, should I say it is above the same as in the US, there is an NSA, right? This is the same type of agency.
Yes.
And we think that they are responsible mostly for this. Of course, intelligence services like military and, in Poland.
Well, I got to ask you something, because I have interviewed many target individuals, TIs, and in America and here in Europe as well. And the targeted individuals that I have all spoken to obviously speak some English, have some understanding of English, and they all say that their voices in their head are in English. Not Australian English, not British English, but American English. Now, this suggests that this could only be the NSA who target the general population. I would say CIA, but they are MK Ultra. They handle the more influential targets of the world. Your celebrities, your politicians, your corporate heads, and they're highly specialized in this. But as far as the general population is concerned, this is the NSA. And so I want to give a little bit more of a benefit of the doubt to the Polish government, and seeing how they don't know about this. And I've spoken to many individuals about this sort of scenario. I mean, these people don't even know how the Slawek crash happened. I know.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely know. With very little research, I know exactly how it's happened. I'm going to go into it a little bit more. But it seems as though your government is completely oblivious to magnetic frequency sort of frequency technology. So it may be military. And I want to note right here and now that after 2 weeks of my arrival here, the approval of military occupation has happened here in Poland by U.S. troops. And we all know that this is a silent imperialistic invasion across the world, because the U.S. has military bases in every allied country. And so there is a spread of this virus, this imperialistic Western oppression. And so I really would love to give the benefit of the doubt to the Polish government and say that they're innocent in this. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Okay, I think that they all cooperate together, working together. So I think, it's also your country, our country involved in this, and this is all what I think agenda, the technology that is used here. So it's easily, to think that your country could, give our country that technology that they need to test, because, this is a part of the agenda, and we are part of NATO, right? So they have some things that we have to do for them, and I think this is all connected together. And you said that you know Polish targets who hear voices in English?
Yes. Every target I've come by knows American English, and it's not their first language. here in Europe, obviously, but it's all in American English. I'm sorry, but real schizophrenia manifests in your native language. This is the major evidence of this. This isn't a scenario of natural schizophrenia, which is entirely so rare. You have millions of people around the world that hear voices, but in actuality, when you look at their biological or biochemical statistics, it is so rare. Even with a billion people on the planet, you'd only see a few thousand people with this disease, this mental disorder. It's that rare. But you have the advent of the pharmaceutical companies who want to make billions of dollars, selling you the idea that you're crazy. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry for them to tell you that you're crazy. Here, pop this pill, which are psychotronic. I'm sorry, I'm so ahead of myself. Psychotropic drugs. Psychotropic drugs to get you into a state that you are not in naturally, but if you take these drugs, you become balanced, as they say, to be on their wavelength, to be either remotely monitored or controlled to some extent in this world of frequencies that we live in. It's a sea of frequencies. This is the matrix. This is the mind control matrix.
Okay, I can tell you, getting back to this hearing voices in English topic, I can tell you how it looks in my case. So it was weird for me. Okay, I heard voices in my own native language, in Polish, right? But I noticed that they cannot comment my thoughts in English. So it's a different case, as you see, because
really?
They mapped my Polish language, but they didn't map my English language, and this is my only way of privacy. When I learned to think in English, this chatterbot, it cannot comment what I'm thinking on, and if they shut up or try to, focus my thinking on the Polish topics using the Polish trigger words and, trying to get my attention, but when I think in English, it cannot comment it. And I done several tests on it, trying, I thought even maybe it's they trying to trick me or something. But someday when I read one of this Dr. Duncan book, I found that one sentence where Dr. Duncan said, when you have your own native language that is mapped, and fluently can use another language, they might be not able to read your thoughts. This confirms my theory, right? So
for the record, you said work with your thoughts, work with your language, because this is a clean show. We can't use profanity. You said work with, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned how to mostly think in English, so that's mostly you think in your native language, right? And this
Correct.
is when they mapped your dictionary of Polish words and so on, they know your every word, right? And this chatterbox technology, of which Dr. Duncan say a lot, that is this harassing, constant talking program in your mind that's forcing you to interact, to react on saying, and try to bring you into this conversation instantly. And I noticed that this chatbot that comments every my Polish thought, they cannot comment none of my English thoughts. So this is proof for me that that English is my privacy right now, right? At least on my thought level.
So, with Poland being I want to say, how does it work over here? Poland is a part of NATO. Poland is a American or a UN ally. NATO, actually, right? Correct?
Yes, exactly, yes.
And so, there's this whole thing with Russia being the super threat of the world, even though they're the ones who didn't want war with America with their Russian woodpecker signal, and they tried doing everything they could to calm us down, and which actually makes a lot of sense because war is the number one industry for America, number one money-making industry. This is the imperialistic threat that threatens peace around the world. Even though we come under the false guise of democracy, freedom, and peace. Yet we're in every country's business around the world. You can't be in someone else's business and say that you're peaceful because you're causing problems by being in everyone's business.
You know, being a part of NATO nations is like, you know, they want you to connect to their system. So this technology is a part of their bigger system, right? So they want to connect every countries in their connections, right, to NATO and so on, to this system. That's why they share the technology to reason to connect to everyone to their system. I think so, like this.
Yeah, you're talking about Mind, the CIA Mind
you know, to
system.
connect to this mind control technology, to this NVO and NWO, agenda and so on. But the worst thing, what I want to continue with this question is that we think that they also share this technology with the criminals, mafia and organized criminal groups that are using this on many of the targets. And that's the scariest thing because, you know, most people think that the government protect us from the criminals. But it looks like it's possible because, you know, this technology source is obviously from government, and we think that many of the criminals group on private contractors, or how you call it, you will call them, also use this technology on the innocent targets, right?
Well, see, that's a whole different matrix because what most people don't understand is in America especially, the FBI was created to combat the mafia, but really the FBI was created to welcome in the mafia. The government and the mafia merged in America, and this is where these criminal tactics came from. The mafia in itself is a Freemason Illuminati, or on my show, as I say, D-Illuminati cult, along with the KKK, for example. Both branched off from Freemasonry and this sort of ordeal. But, and to further emphasize this, you have the corporations, as you say. The NSA in itself is not technically, truly a government agency because the NSA is comprised of nothing but military contractors or companies who have been contracted to the military, private companies who are working in synchronicity with governments to have a sort of foothold, because I'm sorry, but America and it was probably true around the world is that the people don't know that they have two governments, the government and corporations. That's why all these politicians get elected in the positions that they're in, because some corporate power has lined their pockets and put them into place. You know, America is accused of installing dictators in these countries that have fallen to imperialism, but really, when it goes down to it, to the basics here, it's the politicians who have fallen prey to the corporations. And then this is where you have the bankers. This is why, you know, people don't understand that these banksters really control a lot of things.
there is also very, very corrupted nation. I think I can say it straight. There is so many journalists that wrote so many interesting information about connection government with criminals and financial elites and so on. And it's the same here. And I think that as it is in the US, but still maybe on the smaller range of something. But also, I think most of the countries have the same problems. Corruptions, right?
Corruption.
Yeah.
Power corrupts absolutely.
Okay, if you allow me, I will follow next questions about StopThat, because I would like to share with you, our audience, what are our main goals and methods of working. So StopThat is mostly trying to inform and make people conscious about this mind control technology and this gang stalking tactics against innocent people, and that this also is a part of a bigger agenda. It's not only individual, but it also concerns all human beings. The technology evolves. It's not only one person involved, but whole nations, right? So our goals are making people aware of this, and we hope our work will help everyone to forbid this criminology acts. And I hope and we hope that at the end our main goal will be justice for everyone. That those criminals who are doing this for us and for all those targets and those individuals that are tortured every day, that they will, face the justice and they will go to court and finally to the prison to, get what they deserve, right. And,
Okay, well, but I really have one itching question.
Yeah.
And no one has been able to answer me. Are you aware of the Super Soldier Summit?
Yeah, we have some visits of some, let's say, we had some lectures of Max Byers, Kieran Pearson.
Well, when's the next Super Soldier Summit? Because the last one that I've seen that has happened was in 2014. Don't you think it's time for another Super Soldier Summit?
I really don't know what to say on this topic, because this is quite a new topic, and I mostly focus on targeting the common citizens, individuals. So I don't really am not a lot into this super soldier topics.
Okay, well, that's fine, and I have to bring up the question because, as you just said, there are so many new developments and everything.
And
there needs to be an update.
This is very logical way to think that this technology is not only for weapon targeting and torturing individuals, right? This is, of course, it has some programs to also as a weapon to make better soldiers, stronger soldiers, more, more efficient, and so on. Of course, this is obvious thing to know about this technology.
Well, I just I really want to keep the ball rolling with the Super Soldier Summit because, through my digging and investigation through things, I'm finding that there are some figureheads in this movement that have been compromised, and I won't say how, and I won't say why, as of right now. I can't come to paranoid conclusions here or assumptions, but I want to get to real conclusions. But things can be assessed once it's time for results. And so I really would like to push for the Super Soldier Summit and get it going once again. I'm not sure where it has been available in the past. I think it may have been hosted in America or Europe, alternating or something like that. There's not very much information on the websites, but I'm seeing YouTube videos on Super Soldier Summit, and technology is involved, and there are these conventions and everything. So this needs to find different circuits. This information needs to find ways of getting around that's outside of the internet, that's outside of any normal pathway. How do you feel about that?
As for those super soldiers, we have a lecture here in Poland at one conference of Kieron Liperin, maybe you know this person, and Max Pierce talking about us super soldiers. So still here is not much information about it, because there is not many others super soldiers that came around to talk about it. I only know those two that are called super soldiers, but so those mind control programs, and say something about it. I don't really know much more about it. I am a person that based mostly on my own experience as a target individual person, just common citizen that being approached in the torture program.
Well, what about the EUCACH? EUCACH.
Yes, I understand. Yes, this stop that is working together with many European associations. Of course, with EUCACH also. Magnus Olsson, you're talking about his association, right? EUCACH.
Yes. I'm not sure how you pronounce it here.
We are in contact with Magnus Olsson. As you may know, Magnus Olsson is now in Poland, and some time ago he started his new association, World Association, called WorldCatch, and we're already working on it to be a part of WorldCatch. So StopZet is going to be part of WorldCatch. So yeah, we're trying to work very active with other DIs as much as possible.
Well, what about working with other organizations in America? And I have I've asked this question before and have gotten a very disappointing answer, which is the same as my own. But what do you feel about working with Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance and ICE Act, for example? Is there an international effort here?
Yeah, I know them. I know them. I read about them. I read about the actions. Right. As I know, StopZet didn't yet cooperate with them, but I know that they, done some scanning reports and actions, and I've listened some of the interviews they done on the radio shows, and I think at least I know from those sources they're doing good job, right? I don't know how about they working with other associations or so on. Still, we didn't have any experience with them yet, but I will work on it, of course, to get it my own opinion. Right?
Well, I'll do my best to help you in that endeavor.
Very great.
So we have about about 5 more minutes actually left in this show. Is there anything that you want to emphasize on, any extra information that you want to give out?
Well, I want just to tell you that in Poland we already managed to do some, I think, quite important and knowledgeable things in the TI community. We have, maybe you are aware that some lady have asked our Minister of Defense, Antoni Macierewicz, about those target targeting and experimenting electromagnetic weapons on citizens of Poland. And he said he knows something about it, he heard about it, and they will do some investigation about it. But after that, when we send them over 45 descriptions of subset members' stories about being a target, they also told that there were 40 more. So they received about 80 histories of targets in Poland. But at the end, we received writing from them document where they said there will be no investigations and they do not know nothing about this targeting. So it's of course lie and obvious. They try to make it quiet.
Well, okay, that brings up an interesting point, interesting question from me.
Yeah.
How about some sort of, well, I mean, we know the psychological aspects of this horrendous, illegal treasonous program that's put on the population of the world. They have a program which they are insistent is 100% effective, and which why nobody is released from it. We can then, well, I'll say that, a predictable enemy becomes a resource. And so, if we have the formula to how this is done, we can set up surveys and pass it around to people, not just all throughout Poland, but all throughout the world. And anyone who comes up with the symptoms with things that are outside of the norm, that even the bogus pharmaceutical and outdated psychology system can explain, we can then bring some more attention to this. Would that be a decent campaign? Is that a way we can go at this?
Yeah, I think a good plan, step by step, would be the best way to, to make it everyone believe this, right? Because we now fight with everyone that we try to make people conscious about this, and most of them don't believe us, don't know what we are saying about, and this is the main problem. We also send over 55 of descriptions to the main prosecutor about our situation. So we also we try to act as possible to inform society and law, and everyone that is able to help us.
Okay. Well, Slawek, stay in contact with me because we have a lot of work to do, brother.
Yes, I know it. I'm happy we've met. We can act active. I hope it will bring a good effect.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on to the show. It's been... I've been anxious about talking to you, about this to you. And getting you on the show, and is probably showing, but I'm finding that Europe is such a wonderful place, regardless of the crimes going on internationally. It's such a wonderful place. I'm learning so much, and it's such a beautiful culture, beautiful people, and I hate to say it, but a little bit more enlightened than the West. And
yeah, I think we need to fight for it to be like this, because they try to change it in a very, very strong way. So there is lots of things to be done from us. So to keep this country, like you said, a good, nice place, right?
mm-hmm.
Because they're trying to change it.
And it's everything's great. The food, the sightseeing, and don't tell my wife, but everything's just more beautiful over here. I'm glad I have some things.
I'm happy you enjoy it, really.
But yes, I've got to have you on the show again. Hopefully, you can become a regular, and we'll keep Stop Set in try to put it in the view of people and get this thing looked at. Hopefully, get some solutions, save some lives, enlighten people. Absolutely. So, if one more time, if you would like to plug some websites, Facebook, etc., now would be the time.
Okay, so our main website is stopset.org, so please visit this and look for us at the Facebook Stopset or Stop Zorganizowanym Elektrycznym Torturom. You will find us there. And please also, if you like, invite me. My name is Slawek Victor. You will find me on the Facebook also. You can contact me if you like. I would be very glad to talk everyone who would be interested. And thank you, V, for your interview. I hope we'll have another chance to talk, and I am sure we'll have chance to act together here on our land. I'm happy you came to Poland. This is a very big opportunity for us to do some changes. I think so.
Absolutely, I agree.
Please view, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Stop Terrorism. Please contact us if you or anyone you know who wants to be on our show at thetruthpharmacy@gmail.com. Keep it real. Take the red pill.